Everyone knows the New York City subway is one of the worst and dirtiest subways in the world. And as a New Yorker, I can agree. When looking at China or Europe, the subway in New York doesn't seem that great to ride. However, what if I told you that some stations need to be seen with how cool it looks, even with all the bad stations in New York? Hi, I'm MTA Train Productions, and I'm about to show you the best subway stations in New York City that you should go visit. Let's begin.
This stop is World Trade Center.
The Oculus Center is one of the best stations, or, well, transportation hubs in New York City. It needs to have a visit. This isn't a station, but more of a connection in between different stations. The stations connecting to this would be Chambers Street, a C station, Park Place to 3 station, World Trade Center E train station, Cortlandt Street RW station, WTC Cortlandt 1 train station, and Fulton Center, which we'll be going back to soon. This also connects to the main station here, the World Trade Center PATH station. Now, what's the history behind this station? Well, after the 9/11 attacks, the Twin Towers were destroyed, and sadly, thousands of people lost their lives. Officials would propose a $7 billion redesign of transit in Lower Manhattan a few days after. This would include a new PATH train terminal, the Fulton Center, South Ferry Whitehall Street, and the reconstruction of the West Side Highway. Construction on it started in 2008. In 2003, a temporary PATH station was made during the planning and construction. It was located at the same place as the original station, which was destroyed. The temporary station would only have one entrance on Church Street. The transportation hub has been described as either one of the world's most expensive train stations or the world's single most expensive station for its massive reconstruction cost of approximately $4 billion. The hub was also criticized for its delays, as the hub was completed almost 10 years later than originally projected. Eventually, the Oculus was finally opened in 2016. This would be it for the World Trade Center station. If you ever visit New York City, check this station out. Anyways, on to the next station.
This is Fulton Street.
Fulton Center is a recently rebuilt station in Lower Manhattan, just a few blocks away from the World Trade Center hub. Not only does Fulton Center have connections to trains, but it also has stores, restaurants, and other retails here. Fulton Center is also one of the busiest stations in New York City, having around 70,000 passengers here yearly. The proposal for Fulton Center dates all the way back to 2002. The project had to be delayed many times, mainly when it came to the cost of building it. Many plans were cut back, and eventually the MTA found one plan they agreed with. Construction officially started in 2009. This came in stages, with the I&D mezzanine going first, then platform rehabilitation and new entrances, and then finally opening the Fulton Center. Fulton Center opened in 2014. It had an amazing mezzanine, entrance, and lighting as well. The most jaw-dropping thing here, though, was the amazing sky reflector on the ceiling. This station would also have a connection to the World Trade Center hub that we were talking about before. What train lines would Fulton Center connect to? Well, it would connect to the AC trains, JZ trains, 2-3 trains, and finally the 4-5 trains. Now, if you thought Broadway was the only street with nice entrances to Fulton Center, you would be wrong. Nassau Street has nice entrances leading down to the JZ platform. William Street also has its unique and cool entrances as well. Fulton Center is a great place to visit if you're visiting New York City. This would finish up the Fulton Center station. This definitely hits the best train station in New York City. Be sure to visit it.
This is Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn Museum.
Now we go to an actual train station with the platforms being the best as well. The Eastern Parkway Brooklyn Museum station is located down in Brooklyn, connecting passengers to the Brooklyn Museum. I've heard great reviews about the specific station from other people, so I went to check it out. This was the first time I've ever been to the station as well. There were two entrances at this station. This one with an elevator, which is on the south end of Eastern Parkway, and this entrance, which was on the northern side, or just across the street. What I heard about the station would be how clean it was, and honestly I did see what they were saying. The tiles were, well, clean in most places. There were also cool mosaics of artifacts that came from a museum, which makes sense to put in the station. The station began construction in 1914 and opened in 1920. In 2002, the MTA planned on a renovation for the station given that it was the Brooklyn Museum's anniversary. They upgraded the station with a new entrance and mosaics that were donated from the museum. Eventually, in 2018, elevators were installed in the station, making this station completely ADA accessible. Now, this station isn't honestly a landmark in New York City, even though it is next to one. I wouldn't bother going to this station unless you want to see a very clean station in New York City, which is rare. In my opinion, this is one of the best stations and one of my favorites after my visit here. Anyways, that's it for the Eastern Parkway Brooklyn Museum station. On to the next station.
This is 81st Street, Museum of Natural History.
The 81st Street station is the most beautiful station along New York City. However, where does this lead to? Well, the station actually leads to the Museum of Natural History in New York City, which is a big landmark. Now, this station is not accessible even though it should be. There are two entrances leading to 81st Street which connect to the M79 Select bus service. There's also an entrance at 79th Street leading to a long passageway. This is the nearest entrance to the museum. The exit at 79th Street also has an exit on platform level that leads down to the museum. This is for staff only, however. Now we go on to the platform where the real beauty of the station is shown. Mosaics are seen on walls and are so cool to look at. Animals that picture those displayed in the museum are here. Even having fossil art in the wall on the lower level platform of dinosaurs or other animals. If you look on the floor, you can see art of sea creatures. But just wait until you see the stairs. Whether it's walking through the Earth's core, space, or even the sea, it's really cool to see this. Looks like this station is a part of the museum. The station opened in 1932 when the rest of the I&D 8th Avenue line opened as well. In 1999 to 2000, the station was completely renovated with a brand new look and new cool mosaics that were shown earlier. In 2019, the MTA actually announced that this station is getting elevators. However, construction for them hasn't started. "81st Street is a very iconic station to visit with the cool art it has, and make sure to visit the museum as well. The next stop is..."
This is 96th Street.
96th Street is a newly built station on the 2nd Avenue line. It is the northern terminal for the Q. It has entrances and exits on 96th Street and 94th Street. The station was planned back in the 1920s when they planned the 2nd Avenue subway. The plans were extensively delayed due to lack of funds. Finally, construction started in 2007 and the station opened in 2017. This station can give great escalator rides with cool art installed on the walls. This also features a unique and cool mezzanine with cool art installed in it as well. Now we go down to the platform. The platform has a unique design compared to other stations in New York City, even having a coffee shop which was closed when I was there. There's honestly not much to say about the station except for it's just a cool design and a nice looking station. Now, if you like the design of this station, then you will also like the design of 86th Street, 72nd Street, and Lexington Avenue 63rd Street. All of these stations were also built during the 2nd Avenue subway, except for Lexington Avenue 63rd Street. With that being said, this is the end of the 96th Street station. On to the next station.
This is 34th Street, Hudson Yards.
"34th Street Hudson Yards is a recently made station on the 7 line. It's on the intersection of 11th Avenue and 34th Street, right where Hudson Yards is. This station has a very similar design to 96th Street, the station we saw before, especially the entrances here. The upper mezzanine at 34th Street would be really big and beautiful to see, with cool art on the ceiling. The 35th Street upper mezzanine isn't as great as 34th Street, however. The escalators have good views as well, going down to either the upper mezzanine or lower mezzanine. But just wait until you see the unique elevators at this station with amazing views. Now we go to the lower mezzanine, which leads down to the 7 train platforms. This is very similar to 96th Street, just having a unique and clean lower mezzanine. Now we go down to the platform. The platform is again very similar to 96th Street, the station we saw before. Maybe the wall tiles are much different than it, and also some unique features as well to the station that is different from 96th Street. Now, would I ever visit this station? Honestly, I probably would, especially taking a joyride on the elevators. The elevators are really cool again. But you should visit the station, even looking at Hudson Yards. The station is also at the beginning of the High Line if you ever want to visit that. Again, this is a very clean and nice station and definitely deserves its place in the best stations in New York City. Anyways, on to the last and final station.
This is Grand Central, 42nd Street.
Now, we're not really focusing on the subway station here, but more of the Grand Central complex. More of this area. The Grand Central Terminal was built in 1871 as the Grand Central Depot. However, it was reconstructed and changed to Grand Central Terminal in 1900 due to rapid growth. They continued upgrading Grand Central Terminal over the past years. There were proposals to demolish it in the 1950s and 1970s, however these proposals were unsuccessful. Finally, in the 1990s, they renovated the station. This cleaned up the station, including the ceiling of the cool art above. Grand Central is home to Metro North. The platforms on the Metro North are not as great as the concourse. This also connects to the Long Island Railroad, which had a new station open up here. Not only this, but it connects to the 4, 5, 6 trains, 7 train, and shuttle to Times Square. Grand Central Station is also one of the busiest stations, with 500,000 people going train to train, and the amount doubles during the holiday season. The Grand Central Station is a great station to visit, and I bet you'll have heard about the station already. Needs to have a visit. It even has different stores and retails around here as well. And that will be it for the best stations in New York City. This was a long video to make, but I was happy to show people who are going to visit New York what train stations they should go check out. If you really like this video and would like me to make more of these, tell me in the comments below. If you think I need to fix something, also tell me in the comments below. I'd love to make more of these and make these videos better for you guys to watch. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please like and subscribe.